What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Passable Ball Knowledge Podcast. We took a vacation. We were on a very long vacation. No Wi-Fi, no internet, no nothing. We're back. We're here to talk some ball. Week 5 is essentially past. Monday Night Football starts in about half an hour. But we're here to talk, kind of Sunday's games, everything that went down. We're going to give our thoughts. I'm Sam. That's Aaron. Aaron, how's it going?
Um, Going good. Been on bye, so kind of nothing going on for the Falcons right now. But
Yeah, I would have liked for a bye yesterday. We'll get to that. But let's start with the most recent game that happened and maybe the most surprising game from Sunday. The Buffalo Bills hosted the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football in Buffalo. They debuted their new, it's kind of whiteout snow jerseys. And, the Patriots came out, they came to play, and they beat the Bills at home on Sunday Night Football 23-20. The Patriots, take down the Bills for the first time in what must be a long time. I don't have the exact stat, but it has to be years since the Patriots beat the Bills. Uh, you know, Aaron, this is a big win for the Patriots, like for the Mike Vrabel regime, the Drake May regime, everything that's going on there. This is the biggest win that the Patriots have had in a long time. What's your take on the Patriots beating the Bills last night?
my take is, I was really doubting the Patriots for the first couple weeks. They looked really messy, in the first like 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And I was thinking, same old Patriots that have kind of been there since Bill Belichick left. Um, but Drake May has really come alive this season, and I mean he's been good all season long. But it feels like he's really just starting to cook now for this team. And I'm obviously surprised by yesterday's game. Um, but we Rich Eisen said it on his podcast today. It's the or whatever the guy's name is said it.
Hmm.
This is the biggest win for the Patriots since Belichick left.
Yeah.
Can completely turn a season around, a really nice win like this. And unfortunately, the Falcons have to go against the Bills next week. So I'm expecting some very not nice things from Josh Allen.
I mean, let's talk about, where things stand in the NFL because the Patriots, I think coming in, a lot of people thought the Patriots were going to be a team that's like, they're like a chippy team. They might win some games here and there. Maybe they sneak into the playoffs as like the 7 seed. Right now, that's about where they are. They're 3-2 currently in the 7th seed. This is before the Chiefs have played, who are the 8th seed, and the Jags have played, who are currently the 5th seed. So, like this is a team right now that is in a position to be in the playoffs. And I think we're seeing this Patriots team really start to take form where all night they really were very like chippy and aggressive, and they were really getting in some good hits on Josh Allen, and they were never really going away. You felt like the Bills were always trying to hit that big play to really pull away from in this game, and they just never really could hit it. And it's the first time that I think in a long time where we've seen Josh Allen not look super great. He looked good. I'm not saying that the Patriots like shut him down or anything, but this is the best any AFC East team has played the Bills in a long time. And it's a really big step for the Patriots where you have Stephon Diggs going for like a buck 50 out there. You have Drake May extending plays, making these really crazy plays. I mean, that Stephon Diggs play at the end. I know you were in bed, but the Stephon Diggs play at the end where he's rolling and he's getting tackled and he just kind of flicks it to Stephon Diggs, who takes it upfield for about 10 yards. Really impressive stuff for a young guy who is still kind of developing in this league going into Buffalo in his first ever primetime game. And it's the first Patriots primetime game in like a season. So, like,
Yeah.
we're seeing it. We're seeing it develop for New England and we're seeing it come along. I mean, what do you think the ceiling is for this New England team this year?
Um, I think if they keep playing, like they did yesterday, obviously, and Drake May keeps playing the same, for this team, they have a really solid defense. I think for this team, I think a low ceiling would be, a wild card. I think they can easily make that. The AFC isn't, the strongest this year with like the Ravens being pretty bad and the Chiefs maybe not being so great. So I think if there were to be any year for, the Patriots to capitalize on, good quarterback play and good overall, defensive and offensive play, this would be the year for them. So I think the lowest ceiling should be the wild card right now for this Patriots team.
Yeah, I think if you're a Patriots fan, there's no reason to not be optimistic about where this is going and what this team could be. This team, they're not winning the AFC East. They're not winning the AFC Championship. But a couple years from now, if you're telling me that the Patriots are like within a game or two on the Bills in the AFC East, I would not doubt you. I wouldn't say that's crazy to say. This is a team that's coming along. I think Mike Vrabel's a great coach. I think we're both in agreement on that. We
Yeah.
both really like Mike Vrabel. I don't think there's any reason to think that the Patriots are going to slow down anytime soon. So, really interested to see what happens there. Speaking of slowing down or not slowing down, more so, let's talk about what is the game of the day yesterday, and it comes at the cost of my Seattle Seahawks. The Buccaneers and the Seahawks squared off in an all-time like quarterback duel, like legitimately one of the better quarterback duels I remember watching in person. And when I say quarterback duels, obviously like, oh yeah, Mahomes and Josh Allen, they go against each other, da 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 da. But I'm talking like literally quarterback and quarterback just carrying each other's teams on their backs down the field, like just going at each other over and over and over and over. It was really, really impressive to watch. Baker Mayfield ends up pulling him out, getting him this game 38-35 in Seattle. Seahawks and Bucks both had a lot of injuries. And I think that kind of contributed to how much Seattle and Tampa were just able to walk down the field on each other. But Baker Mayfield, 29 for 33, 379 yards, two touchdowns, a QBR of 90.7, a passer rating of 134.7. Sam Darnold, 28 for 34, 341 yards, four touchdowns, and unfortunately, a pick that would kind of prove to be fatal, but it was a very fluky, like unfortunate pick that kind of bounced off a lineman's helmet and just went right into the arms of Levante David. This is a all-time QB matchup, and a stat that I saw today, and this is kind of nuts, is that this is the first game in NFL history. Let me make sure I'm getting this exact wording right, because it really, you won't believe it when I tell you what it is. Um, this is the first game in NFL history where both quarterbacks each recorded 325 passing yards and completed over 80% of their throws. The
Over
first game.
80%.
Yeah, the first game in NFL history where both quarterbacks did that against each other in the same game.
Wow.
And I mean, think of all the Brady Manning matchups, the Mahomes Allen matchups. This is the first one. Aaron, thoughts on, really this is a Bucks win, but you can kind of talk about both of these quarterbacks being like both redemption pieces and both kind of lifting their teams to levels that we didn't really fully see. Just what are your thoughts on this game and really the outcome for the Buccaneers?
Um, I mean, this was a very uncharacteristic game for, the Seahawks defense, which has been, very, very solid, right? To start this season and, allowing Baker to have almost 400 passing yards and, a few touchdowns and just kind of only really exclusively throwing it to, Emeka Egbuka for a lot of the game. He had like 150 receiving yards,
And
two
like
touchdowns.
130 of them came in the second half. Like it was nuts.
Yeah. But I was watching this game with you, obviously, and it was a roller coaster. Not for me exactly, but for you it was just really everywhere. So, for me this was a very, fun game to watch. Uh, a lot of scoring in the second half, especially in that fourth quarter, where both teams were just kind of trying to keep up with each other. But yeah, I mean the main thing that kind of surprised me about this game was just how high scoring it was. Like I said, Seahawks have had a really solid defense to start
So
the
have the
season.
Buccaneers too, by the way.
Yeah. Um, and just surprising. This weekend uh went about as bad as it could for the Falcons, I would say. All three NFC South teams won while the Falcons were on the bye. But Yeah, this was a great game. That's really all I have to say about it for this game.
Yeah, I mean, my main takeaway is like yesterday, the quarterback battle is going to be a lot to talk about. And like Sam Darnold without that fluky interception is has a 28 for 33 game with 341 yards, four touchdowns, no picks. Like that's a freakishly good game. The Seahawks really like I think another message from yesterday is the Seahawks know like John Schneider knows what he's doing with the quarterback position. If he's given you a quarterback, e.g. Russell Wilson or Geno Smith, he probably knows that he's about to decline. And if he's going for a quarterback like Sam Darnold, he probably knows that he's going to play well. And Sam Darnold has really shown up. But one thing that is going to be not going to be talked about as much as the quarterbacks going at it. Emeka Egbuka and Jackson Smith and Jigba are, I think, two top. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think, right now is undeniably a top five receiver in the game. We're talking right now. Yesterday, he had 8 catches for 132 yards, one touchdown. On the season, through 5 games, these stats, oh my goodness, 34 catches for 534 yards. Like,
Yeah.
this guy's playing out of his mind. And then I don't want to take any credit away from Emeka Egbuka, who I think looks like a superstar. Like, there's no other way to say it. He looks like a superstar. And the Bucks, they struck gold again on a receiver. They did it with Chris Godwin. They did it with Mike Evans. They're doing it again now.
Yeah.
And I think the Bucks are really a force to be reckoned with, especially on offense. And I don't think you can make an argument that anyone should win the MVP right now except for Baker Mayfield. You just can't make the argument to me. Maybe you could
Yeah.
argue Jonathan Taylor. Maybe you could argue like Miles Garrett or some like really great defender. But nobody's playing better football right now than Baker Mayfield. It's not Josh Allen, not Patrick Mahomes. Lamar's hurt. Joe Burrow's hurt. Like you could argue that the three MVP frontrunners statistically right now are Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield,
Yeah.
which is unbelievable. But that's just the way that football is. And we know, I'm sure in a future podcast, we're going to talk about like these like quarterback reclamation projects and how that's all breaking down and how like teams are rediscovering players and giving them time. And it's like maybe quarterbacks don't, all quarterbacks aren't good until they're 25 or something. And then they finally fix something and they finally learn what to do. That's gonna be an interesting topic to discuss later. But I was just blown away with yesterday's game. It sucks to be on the losing end of a game like that, where if you win in a heartbeat, just nasty game like that, it would have been really nice. But you can't win them all. So unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles. And I want to talk about how the cookie crumbled for another team yesterday. And the cookie was looking really good until it like dissolved into like a paste, like a disgusting paste. The Arizona Cardinals yesterday against the Tennessee Titans had a 21-3 lead. And then Amari DiMercado breaks off and he is gone. Cardinals have that baby in the bag. They're playing the worst team in football. They're at home. They're about to be up by 25 points. The game's over. But Amari DiMercado, playing the Titans, they're up by a lot. It's later in the game. He's right at the goal line. He gets a little nonchalant. He just kind of drops the ball out the back of the end zone. Titans get it and they win. The Titans win the game 22-21. Aaron, this is one of the more like if this game happened between like the Chiefs and the Bills or something, like a really like interesting good matchup, this game probably goes in the record books like as like one of the all-time what happened in this game type of games.
Yeah.
What's your take on this Cardinals Titans game, which was like utterly bizarre from start to finish?
I think, if you're the Titans, you're happy with the win, but you really shouldn't have won that game. You had to get a lot of luck from Amari DiMercado making a stupid mistake. And who was the corner that picked off Cam Ward yesterday? I don't even know what his name was.
I don't
Um,
even know if it was a linebacker. I think it was a linebacker or something. I think it was like Was it Taylor Demerson or something like that? I feel like it was some
Maybe.
sort of. I'll check the play
Yep.
by play. You keep talking.
That's past the point. But if those two things don't happen, you're probably losing that game, 28-35 to 6. Um, and that's another he lost that probably gets Brian Callahan fired. So this win, but you're happy you walk away with the win at least. And for the Cardinals, you're like, have we finally hit rock bottom? Like we were 2-0 and then go out, lose three straight, almost come back against the Seahawks. That doesn't happen because of, Cardinal stuff. Lose a close game to the 49ers and then, lose this game against the Titans. And so far this season, they've beaten the Saints and the Panthers, and they lost to the worst team in football and two very good teams. So this Cardinals team, they're not good. This is not a good Cardinals team right now. And
Taylor Demerson was the one with the pick that fumbled it, by the
yeah,
way.
so I mean, going back to that, all the blame can't be placed on Amari DiMercato. Now, obviously, a lot of it is because that would have been a touchdown, probably steal the game. But I could say the same for the fumbled interception. That would have sealed the game with 2 minutes left, and the game's over if he picks that off and doesn't fumble. Um, but for the Cardinals, I think they've really hit rock bottom. Lose to the worst team in football, lose three straight. Your coach was yelling at a player yesterday who was obviously, really down on himself in that moment, was having a really hard time, players trying to console him on the sideline, and then you come up and start yelling at him. It's just not something that a professional coach would do. Your job as a coach is to, carry him to finish this game, and then, we talked about this earlier, grill him in the film room for whatever reason you want to. But in that moment, you're still fighting in that game. You still need to do what you want, and they just didn't. They just didn't do that. And I think a lot of it is obviously on the players for these stupid mistakes and fumbles, but it's also on Jonathan Gannon. He really did nothing to uplift this team. Talking about Amari DiMercato, it's just a really really rough time in Arizona. And for the Titans, I mean, I guess the only way we can go is up now. After this win, you play the Raiders, a bad Raiders team next week. And you kind of hope that you can, pull away a win with that.
Yeah, this is truthfully like one of the more bizarre games you could ever look at. It's just it's it's just a truly unbelievable game, and it's an unbelievable way to lose. And we have a little bit of time, a little bit of extra time than we were expecting. What like if I named any coaches in the league right now, how many of them do you think are on a hotter seat than Jonathan Gannon? Like if you just had to say off the top of your head, how many coaches are on a hotter seat than Jonathan Gannon? Because this is a win now season for the Cardinals. If you don't win now, he's gone. You get 3 years as a coach, and his 2 years so far have been pretty bad. And now, like, he's gonna have to do it like one more time. Like, I don't
I think maybe the only people hotter are Mike McDaniel and
like is Callahan still hotter?
I think so. I mean, because if you get throttled again next week, he's probably fired. He's gone.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think the only people that are maybe on a higher seat than Jonathan Gannon are Brian Callahan and Mike McDaniel. Those are only guys you can justify firing this early in the season, even though like the Jets are 0-5. Yeah, I think everybody knows that, it's not really Aaron Glenn's fault. He's not really given any kind of team to work with, um, so far. And, he's a good coach. There's no reason to fire him. But anyway, yeah, I think those are the only two guys that are, hot enough to get fired at this point in the season.
All right. So I want you to now think as hard as you possibly can. And I want you to give me two winners from this week. It could be a coach, could be a player, could be a team, could be anything. Two winners, two losers from this weekend's slate of games.
Um, I think my first winner overall as a the team are the Carolina Panthers. You it's been a obviously been a very up and down season, very low lows, but their two wins have been sort of convincing, I guess you can call them. They obviously beat up on the Falcons. We don't have to talk about that. And then a really solid comeback win yesterday. Well, not really comeback win, but a really
It was.
solid
They were
win.
down 17-0
Yeah, they were.
yesterday.
Um, but yeah, really, really solid comeback win for the Panthers. And yeah, I think they're definitely winners. And this team was obviously carried by Rico Dowdle, who had a rushing game of a lifetime. Uh, Rushed for 23 attempts, 206 rushing yards in that game. And then, another winner for this past week. I'll go the Saints. The Saints are winners this week. They snapped a losing streak, what, 10 games, 9, 10 games,
Yeah, it was
uh,
really long.
going back to last year, and very easy, breezy win for the Saints team against the Giants.
Two losers.
Oh yeah, forgot about the losers part. Um, the Raiders.
Yeah.
They look inept playing football right now. Geno Smith, given I think one of his picks wasn't really on him from yesterday's game, but he has two games with three interceptions. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
You can't. If you are a starting quarterback, that's what is he making?
He's made
30
like
million a
40,
year?
40. Yeah.
Yeah. You there are better quarterbacks that are getting paid less than that. For you, you have these games against Washington, 289 yards, three touchdowns, no picks. And then you have yesterday's game, 228 yards, two picks. The game against Chicago, 117 yards, two touchdowns, three interceptions. And then against the Chargers, 24 for 43, 180 yards, three interceptions. He can't play football right now. And I think for the Raiders, I think if you lose again next week to the Titans, you really got to think about benching Geno Smith. And then second loser, got to be the Ravens. You allowed 44 points to the worst offense in football, at least to watch. Maybe not statistically, I don't know about that,
They're up
but
there. They're up there
yeah,
for sure.
they're the 20th team for points for at least wise. So, and I'm sure that was boosted a lot by yesterday's game. But you allowed 44 points to uh the Texans. CJ Stroud looked pretty piss poor playing football for the first couple weeks of the season. He comes back, balls out yesterday against you. Um, and I think especially for what's his name, Zach Orr, the
Yeah.
Ravens. What's his, uh
Decor.
his time is running out. I think he's a definite candidate to be a rare mid-season coordinator fire for
Yeah.
this Ravens team. Their defense is absolutely horrible. They rank last in points against. They are giving up 35 points a game, which is unacceptable in the NFL. So yeah, I got to go Ravens for my second loss of the week.
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple winners, couple losers. My first winner is going to be Jamar Chase's Defensive Player of the Year case. Three tackles. No, I'm joking. Little quip there. First winner, Mac Jones. It's got to be Mac Jones, right? Like a guy who, like, he was done. He was dead in the water, and he did the thing that every washed up former first round pick quarterback does, and he says, "I'm going to play for Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, or Kyle Shanahan." And he went to go play for San Francisco, and he looks better than Brock Purdy through 3 weeks. And I think this is a career restarter. And once again, we're in a league where like first round picks are just being like recycled and like they're like, oh, they're starting Sam Darnold, they're starting Daniel Jones, and then they come out. And it's like, oh my God, this guy's slinging the ball. He's not making mistakes. He's smart. He's fast. He's poised. He's confident. It's like, it's an entirely different quarterback. And it really feels that way with Mac Jones, where he's very chippy. He's taking hard hits. He's in the pocket. Like he's totally reviving his career in front of our eyes. And he's making a case to like, if Brock Purdy plays poorly later on in the season, he's making a case to push to be in there. And I think for him, even that being a conversation has to mean Mac Jones is a winner. Uh, and getting that tough win over the Rams, that's just like a very admirable win uh for that team, and like to just grind through like that. My second winner is gonna have to be, I mean, you kind of talked about the Raiders. I'm gonna talk about the Colts. The Colts are like, okay, like the teams they've beat, yeah, yeah, okay. They beat the Broncos. Like the Broncos are the best team they beat. The Broncos are good. They're not necessarily elite, but I think we can all agree that the Broncos are pretty good. And then the other teams like the Dolphins, like the Raiders, like, average teams, teams that aren't going to blow you away. But like the way that they're beating these teams and blowing them out, like literally dismantling these teams, I don't see any reason that you can definitively argue that the Colts can't challenge for the number one seed in the AFC. I don't see any reason
Yeah.
why. They're rolling. Their defense is great. Their offense is moving. Jonathan Taylor is the offensive player of the year through 5 weeks. It's like him and Puka. Like whoever you want to take, I'm not going to really argue with you, but Jonathan Taylor,
Thank you,
I
John.
mean, the stat that you saw, right, where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, uh, through through 5 weeks of the year, there's only one player that has three plus rushing touchdowns in a single game, and it's Jonathan Taylor, and he's done it twice.
Yeah.
Like that is ridiculous. And the Colts are rolling, and they look really good, so they have to be a winner for me as well. And now to the losers, Brian Dable.
Yeah.
Like
He just got a couple. He's got a couple weeks shaved off of his job, probably.
they had about as much momentum as any team in the NFL. Like, and you could almost talk yourself into, okay, they just beat the Chargers at home. Jackson Dart had a good game. Cam Scadaboo had a good game. Like, this team is like, oh, this team's young and fun, and maybe they can kind of pull out of this. And they play the Saints next week. Oh my God, they can be 2-3. And all of a sudden, oh, the Giants are sneaking around that wild card spot. They got like low key their asses handed to them by the Saints. Like a double-digit loss to what was the worst team in the NFC up to that point. It's just really unacceptable. And it really hurts his job security. It hurts his ability to like say, oh well, we got Jackson Dart, look how things might change now. Because you get the Chargers for that 1 week where like they were doing a lot of run plays that I was like kind of telling you in the moment, I don't know if teams are going to really fall for these run plays now that they're on tape. And then the Saints clearly did not fall. Didn't they fumble on like five straight possessions or turn it over on like five straight possessions or something? It was really ugly. Um, and yeah, I mean, Giants, especially Brian Dable, big loser there. And another loser, I'm going to go ahead and yeah, I'm gonna say the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills. I didn't teams lose. I get it. That was a very un-Bills loss last night.
Yeah.
And a game that the Bills would win 10 out of 10 times in the previous years. I don't know. I mean, the Bills look good. They're obviously great. They're obviously a Super Bowl contender, but I feel like there's no clear dominant team in the NFL right now. And that's not a crazy thing to say. I don't think like I feel like that's how it is every year. But at the same time, it's like important to realize, hey, like there is not a team right now that everybody is fearing. There's not a team right now. It's like, oh my God, we have to play that team. I feel like pretty much any game you can go into with an idea of we can win. Like you're a Falcons fan. The Falcons are, I mean, no offense. The Falcons are like in that mid tier of teams.
Yeah.
You could go into any game right now, and I don't think the Falcons should ever think, oh man, we're toast. Like that's how the NFL is. And I think the Bills with the Eagles losing could have comfortably taken advantage of that by beating the Patriots firmly, and they just couldn't do it. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back and whether, they truly are that dominant team that we all think they are. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll just really
but
quick going back to that, like your Giants thing. Their last five drives of the game, starting out at 16 to 14, or starting out 14-13, they are winning.
yeah.
fumble, fumble, uh, fumble, return for a touchdown, interception, interception, turnover on downs.
Yeah, so six straight turnovers,
Six straight
sending it.
turnovers for the Giants.
That's ridiculous.
It's
That's
just
unbelievable.
just an ugly game. That's
Yeah, not good.
yeah. Anyway,
Anyways, so now we're gonna introduce our final segment. This is gonna be our weekly final segment, if you will, the game ball of the week. Aaron, who are you giving your game ball to? You got everybody gathered around the locker room. You got one game ball to give out. Name one person you're giving a game ball to this week.
um, I talked about him already. I think it's got to be Rico Dowdle,
Yeah,
for the Panthers. Talked about it already. I'm not going to go too much in it. That you rarely see games like that. You rarely see 200 yard rushing, 200 rushing yard games. Um, Anymore, especially now as the game is kind of shifting a little more into being or is much more passing now than it's been ever pretty much. So yeah, it's got to go to Rico Dowdle. He was a huge offense yesterday. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about it for this week.
I agree with that. And he was definitely one of the players on my list for like who am I gonna give this game ball to? My pick, man, we got a youngin who got it done for the first time in his career, his first career win. Come on down, Cam Ward, man. He delivered a very, very pretty ball to Calvin Ridley on that last drive. Like a
Yeah,
very sexy pass right over the top, perfectly thrown. Like, good for Cam Ward, right? Like, we've been watching it. It's like he's making plays and he's always running for his life back there. And it's like, I just want this guy to win. He got it done. And I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy that he was able to get that win, go into Arizona. And, now he's finally got something to hang his hat on and kind of build around for the rest of the year. So shout out Cam Ward. He's getting my game ball this week. And now we're going to our real last segment. Aaron, today's October 6th.
yes,
I want to know, like, what has happened today on October 6th, like in history. Like, I want to know. Like, I'm dying over here. I need to know what happened on
yeah.
October 6th throughout
Um,
history.
if I'm kind of going back into my um mind catalogs, um, not much happened today in history. I mean, if I really think about it, like today in 1926, uh, Babe Ruth hit a 3-run home run against the Cardinals that won the fourth game in the World Series for the Yankees. Um, and Bill Clinton debated Bob Dole
Wow.
in 1996.
Pretty major, dude.
And man, nothing. It's boring. Nothing really happened today. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to the different parts of my mind. Um, the Braves beat the Phillies 20-7 in 1910. If I remember that right. I think
If you remember.
yeah. Um, Trying to think more like recent history. Um,
You laughing?
um,
Something funny over there?
no, yeah, I'm just really trying to think about what could have happened today. Michael Jordan retired. No, that's not true. He retired. Yes, he did retire today. He retired. His first retirement was today in 1993.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Um,
That's pretty big. Okay, well, I
Pop
know
Idol, Pop
well
Idol debuted.
well, I know you're pretty desperate to know like who was born on this day, right?
Yeah, yeah, I want to know.
Well, let's start with a big one. Back to the Future Part 2 star, Elizabeth Shue, is born in Wilmington, Delaware.
Hmm.
And I also want to point out, happy birthday, Bronny James. Um, happy
One of the
birthday,
one of the
Addison
best players,
Ray.
one of
Happy
the best
birthday,
players in
Addison
the league
Ray.
right now.
Yeah, happy birthday, Addison Ray. Big one.
Yep.
Ryan's World.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Ryan's World. Happy birthday, Trevor Lawrence.
He's playing, and he's playing now.
Yeah, well,
The game started about 4 minutes ago.
you better hope that he gets good.
Yeah,
He's It's his birthday, so he's got to lock in. That's it though. That's it. No one else was born on today.
yeah.
That's like the only five
I'm just
people.
trying to think what could have happened today.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
nothing else happened today. Today's very boring.
okay. Well, we each, really went through the recesses of our mind to find what happened on today's date. And with that, that's going to wrap up the podcast. Please leave a like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you like the video, and also comment with any thoughts, any, kind of comments on our takes or anything like that. We will respond to comments. So let us know. I want to thank you guys for watching. Aaron, you have your own special little sign off that you've been practicing. You wanna drop that real fast?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it.
See you
Oh,
later,
wait,
guys.
what about?
Oh, that's good. All
Yeah.
right, do that right now, and then I'll end the recording. Ready?
Yep.